Writing good fiction demands stepping outside of your own skin. It requires inhabiting minds that don't belong to you. But this process often breaks down when empathy disconnects. Instead of a person, authors build a checklist. They create a hollow shell that mimics humanity but lacks a soul. A character's gender, race, or background is a circumstance of birth. It's not a personality trait. Yet too many creators let a single, uncontrollable attribute define a character's entire existence. They write a female character rather than a character who happens to be female. The distinction seems subtle on paper. In practice, the impact is catastrophic. Failing to write a fully realized human being insults the audience and can spoil an otherwise good story. Readers possess a sharp instinct for authenticity. They feel the lack of substance immediately. A story can't survive when every woman in the story lacks substance. We see this manifest in 3 specific ways. Identifying these traps is essential to destroying them. Let's go through each flaw one at a time. Mistake number 1. Oversexualization of female characters. It's the reduction of a human being to a collection of curves. Picture this. She wields magic that can level cities. She commands armies with a single word. But for some reason, she's drawn like a swimsuit model on a battlefield, while every other character gets appropriate designs. This is the trap of oversexualization. It shatters the reader's suspension of disbelief. The narrative says she's a warrior, but the visual language says she's an object. The design contradicts the narrative. A fighter needs armor that protects vital organs. A scout needs gear that allows for silence and speed. Prioritizing skin exposure over what actually makes sense for the story insults the reader's intelligence. It screams that her survival matters less than her appeal to the male gaze. Many male authors tend to treat their female characters like decorations. No one denies that the visual appeal of attractive women sells, but there's a sharp line between an attractive character and a hollow one. Their motivation must burn brighter than their physical appearance. When writing a female character, ask a simple question. If her gender was flipped or looks were taken away, would she still be compelling? If the answer is no, you've failed. You've written a prop instead of a person. Mistake number 2, making your female characters a damsel in distress. A woman enters the narrative with her own goals, fears, and backstory. She's a competent individual. Then the antagonist arrives. Suddenly that competence evaporates. She freezes. She forgets her training. She becomes a plot device whose only function is to motivate the male lead. This is the damsel in distress archetype, and it's the fastest way to kill narrative tension. A character who can't solve their own problems is a liability to the plot. If she exists only to be captured, rescued, or protected, she isn't a person, she's luggage. The male lead carries her from point A to point B. This robs the story of a second perspective. It forces the hero to do all the heavy lifting while she watches from the sidelines. She stands there, hands clasped, waiting for salvation. This dynamic insults the character. It implies their struggle isn't real and suggests that their only value lies in vulnerability. Authors often use this trope as a shortcut for emotional stakes, thinking that endangering the girl makes the hero look stronger. It does the opposite. It makes the world feel small and artificial. If the villain ignores her threat level just to use her as bait, the villain looks stupid. If she stops fighting the moment the hero arrives, she looks weak. Agency is non-negotiable. Even if overpowered physically, they must remain active mentally. Physical defeat doesn't equal narrative silence. A well-written character forces the villain to work for their victory. I'm not saying that being rescued is the issue. Heroes rescue each other all the time in shonen manga. The issue is helplessness. When a male character loses a fight, he analyzes his weakness, trains, seeks mentors, and plans a counterattack. When a poorly written female character loses, she accepts her fate and outsources her survival to the man standing next to her. Break this pattern. Mistake number 3, giving your female characters massive potential and realizing none of it. Imagine you introduce a character as a prodigy, give them a legendary bloodline, or grant a unique power system that sets a new level to scaling. The backstory implies immense, terrifying strength. The audience gets excited. They theorize about her future. They wait for her moment to arrive. But that moment never comes. The male leads scales to godhood. They shatter mountains and rewrite the laws of physics. They unlock new forms and transcend their limits. Meanwhile, the female lead hits a glass ceiling. She stagnates. She's relegated to support. She becomes the dedicated healer or handles the nameless fodder while the men fight the boss. This is narrative fraud, a promise made in the first act that was refused in the third. Wasted potential breeds resentment. The reader feels cheated after investing time in a character who went nowhere. Authors often fear overshadowing the protagonist, worrying that a strong female lead will steal the spotlight. A story with two titans is infinitely more interesting than a story with a god and his cheerleader. Power creep must be managed for everyone, not just the hero. If the enemies get stronger, all others must get stronger. Don't let them fall behind simply because you forgot to write a training arc. If she's established as a genius, show her outsmarting the antagonist. If she has raw power, let her level a city. Don't scale her down to keep the male lead comfortable. Benching a powerful character creates a plot hole. The audience asks why she isn't fighting or using the ability shown 10 chapters ago. The internal logic collapses. If she falls behind, give her a logical reason why she's not able to use all of her powers. Let her surpass the hero if the story demands it. Don't leave their potential a what if. In conclusion, the core of a great character is universal. Ambition, fear, greed, loyalty. These traits don't have a gender. When sitting down to write female characters for your story, create the human being first. Define their goal, the lie they believe, and the ghost that haunts them. Build a psychological profile that stands on its own. Only then assign the physical traits. Use the swap test to expose biases. If you changed the gender of this character, would your audience still enjoy their presence? Does their behavior suddenly look pathetic? If the story falls apart because the character seems too weak for a man, you've written a bad woman. A well-written character remains compelling regardless of their pronouns. Circumstances of birth, like gender or race, aren't personality types. These factors influence their lived experiences, but they don't dictate how they act. The best authors understand this fully, and their stories show it. If this video helped you, hit the like button and leave a comment below. And don't forget to join our Discord community. The link is in the description. It's a great place to share your work and connect with fellow creators. Thanks for watching.